Hello, everyone. Welcome to Grounded Roots Healing. My name is Jason, and I'm a spiritual teacher. Now, I just started my video, and let's first of all, we're going to be talking about hunting and fishing and how that relates to becoming a spiritual person, or should spiritual people actually do this? And I have opinions on that topic. Now, I had framed this video slightly differently, and my phone fell over. So I'm going to change my tune a little bit. I'll take the sign. Now, hopefully it doesn't fall again. And if that does happen, well, I'll take that as a sign that I shouldn't even broach this subject. So meat eating in general, historically in the spiritual side of things, has been considered a no-no. It's considered to be low vibrational substance. Now, I had a spiritual enlightenment and spiritual awakening. It started about 10 months ago. It's actually happened a lot longer than that, but the bulk of the learning, let's say, and the hands-on practical steps have happened over the last 10 months, and it's been an accelerated program, we could describe it as. And when that happened, I immediately stopped eating less meat. I stopped eating more meat in general, and especially red meat. I stuck mostly to chicken, and that's pretty much it, fish. And I've described this in a video about food choices and spirituality and awakening. But I've had a change of heart in a way. And I think that the reason that I was drawn away from this heavier meats in the first place is how those meats are produced. So everything is vibration. Should I talk about that, or should I talk about the hunting in general? Well, let's just describe why maybe you'd want to consume, say, wild animals that have been living in their environment, as opposed to factory farmed or factory finished animals that we are, let's say, exposed to. So everything is vibration, like I was just going to say, and the highest vibing plants, animals, anything, especially biological items in the environment, are going to be the ones that are given the best conditions for their growth. This goes for humans as well. I mean, that's when we're awakening and we're adjusting our diets and adjusting what kind of things we put on our bodies and consume. That's what we're doing. So you could think of yourself as a houseplant in a way. If you give it lots of water and sunshine and, believe it or not, classical music and loving attention, the plant will grow better. Well, this goes for humans as well as animals. So we consume animals a lot. Most of the people in North America do. There are vegans, but they are still the minority. And historically, every culture on the planet, the most spiritual included, consumed animal products. At the very least, dairy. So, the deer, for example, say let's compare a deer compared to a commercially produced swine or pig. A white-tailed deer in our environment here is born in the environment with no human interaction. It's raised in the environment in which it's designed to live. It's exposed only to natural foods. It does nothing that the deer is not supposed to do. It's not, therefore, it's going to have the highest possible vibration of any animal in the environment, or any animal compared to any animal that we would consume otherwise. And that goes for bears, anything else that's just exists in nature. Now, if in the on the comparison side, if you look at commercially produced pork, they never see the light of day. They're fed whatever makes them grow the fastest, and they're killed before their time. They're not allowed to actually be pigs. They don't. And this is by design. This is to make us sick, because the meat is cheap to produce that way, yes, but it's a very, very low quality because the animal is not allowed to be what it's supposed to be. It's a underwatered, undernourished houseplant. This is similar to if you've ever grown your own tomatoes, and the taste comparison between your tomato, which was treated with love and weeded and watered daily and left to vine ripen, compared to a store-bought tomato. The difference is, you can taste the difference. This is quality. So where am I going with this? If you're going to eat meat, you should eat the highest quality meat that you can. And in my opinion, that is wild game. Now, pork is probably the worst possible option. I would say beef is likely a better choice because they spend at least most of their lives on grass. And they're often corn finished, yes, in feedlots, but that's only for a few months of their life. So, but, lamb or sheep would be a better option because they're not force-fed anything. And if you could raise your own, that's even a better option. And if you can hunt your own, that's an even better option. So I have been hunting and fishing my entire life. Not exaggeration. Since I came out of the womb, I felt like I needed to do this. And I couldn't figure out why. It was obsessive. I spent most of my life using hunting as my way to get into nature. Hunting and fishing, but I have a spirit animal, and that spirit animal is the white-tailed deer, or deer in general. And I've harvested many of them. Now, that seems counterintuitive that you would want to kill your spirit animal. But if you look at the Native American cultures or any indigenous culture on the planet, they hunted and they consumed animals in their environment. They all did this. The trick is to do it with reverence, to do it from a place of respect for that animal, and to use every part of that animal. It's not to drive around in a $50,000 truck with a $5,000 rifle and blast away at things that don't even stand a chance. So in the video, I'll link a video at the front of this. You'll see what I'm using. So I have a wool suit that's 10 years old that I absolutely love because it's completely silent and it's natural material. Cotton and a leather bag that a local craftsman woman has made for me, which I absolutely love, and archery tackle. Now, the likelihood of getting a deer with this equipment is minuscule, to put it lightly. In fact, I've never harvested a deer with a recurve or any traditional bow. I have with the more mechanical compound devices that we've invented, but it doesn't hit the same. So for me to go out in this environment with these as close to natural material as I can, and in fact, I would have made my own bow and know how to do this, but I don't have the time. So for, what would you say, to make sure I harvest the animal properly, more modern equipment is preferable because it does tend to perform a little bit better. So, but I have feathers on the arrow, and it's as close to natural as you can make it, while still being ethical when you take the shot. And this is the way to do it. Now, the effective range of that weapon you're looking at me at is about 15 to 20 yards, which is very, very close. And this, on the ground, this is a real difficult ask. So I'm basically walking around the woods and looking at nature. And that is why I picked these things up. Now, I also feel that I've had many past lives where I've had one of those, and a bow in particular, in my hand for most of my existence. I have had a special connection to these, and I've learned how to make them on my own from a piece of wood in the woods. And they're quite effective. And I will get back into that when I have more time and money. But the point of all this is a 15-yard effective range means that if I am going to harvest a deer, it's going to be inside that animal's, say, auric field. They can detect energies out to 50 yards. This has been proven, scientifically proven. And I don't need it scientifically proven. I know they can. They'll just feel that you're there. So if you do, by some miracle, have this opportunity in your lap with this equipment where you harvest an animal, in my opinion, that animal gave itself to you. So the reverence for that is incredible, in my opinion. So not only do you have high quality, extremely high vibrational meat to consume that's healthy, you have an experience. So every deer that I've ever harvested in the wild, I remember it. There are very few memories in my life other than that where they're stuck, burned into my memory, especially the ones where I did it the right way, let's say, where I was on the ground, where it was kind of a surprise and you got really close to the animals, this type of thing. I've had interactions where I'm convinced that the animal sacrificed itself for me. And this is what I've been told, is that these beings, these spiritual beings that are these animals, have consciousness. And when one of these animals gives itself to you, the soul leaves the body before that harvest happens, and you're allowed to take that animal. So it's a hot button topic. There's a lot of people in the spiritual space who are pure vegan, and I think that eventually we will get to the point where that is the way we can do this, or maybe not even consume food whatsoever. But this hunting is not, how do I put this? It's not amoral. It's not part of this mind-body complex that evolved on this planet. This mind-body complex that is the avatar that I inhabit as a conscious being wants to hunt. It wants to be the animal that it is in this environment. It wants to get on the ground. There's something primal that gets triggered when you're in that environment where you're trying to harvest an animal. Your focus is hyper focus. Everything, time slows down. So this also brings me to how I hunt. And if you notice in the video, you'll see me take a couple of steps and stop and look and then do that again. And this is just a B-roll, exaggerated version of what I actually do. But the point here is what I'm doing there is meditating. I'm doing a walking meditation. I'm in complete silence. I'm wearing natural materials. I'm in the natural environment, which my body wants to be in. You're in a hyper-focused attention state, which means you can't think about anything else other than where you're placing your next foot and the little bird that flew over here and then the crack that you heard over here and your senses are all turned on and they're hyperactive. Therefore, you can't think. Therefore, your monkey mind shuts off. And this is why I ran to the woods and I hunted since, like I said, as long as I can remember. That part of the game of hunting gets turned off and on. It turns off the monkey mind, I should say, and turns on your conscious being. And it was probably the only time I ever felt that and felt safe, really. I felt safer in the woods than I did in my own environment growing up. So I think I need to incorporate this into some sort of forest practice. You know, I've always been drawn to the trees and the animals, and I'm quite good at moving through nature quietly and seeing a lot of things and understanding that it's a gift. It's a gift to be able to connect with nature like that again. And if I ever do get the privilege of harvesting an animal with that recurve, I will cherish that for the rest of my life. The experience and the trophies, if you call them, whatever that is. You know, we try to use every part of this animal. So I know people who their spirit animal are bears. And I've helped with these. It's not particularly something that I am fascinated with. I've always been fascinated with whitetails because that is my spirit animal. But there's other people I'm convinced their spirit animal is bears, and they have incredible luck with harvesting these giant animals. And it's luck I've just never been able to put together. But you know, and then everybody who shoots a bear usually saves the skull. You'd be a crime not to, in my opinion, because if you can feel energy like I can with crystals, you can feel this in like biological items as well. And these skulls and antlers and hides and natural leathers, they all have the spirit, the energy of that animal in them. And, you know, some of these skulls they just buzz like crazy, especially the bigger ones who've been harvested the right way, like I said. So I think that's it. And, you know, this goes for fishing as well. So all the same things apply to fish that you've harvested on your own. And I think that those are even a higher quality and higher vibration food to be eating as the planet ascends as well. Fish is, you know, I think the ideal diet might be like a pescatarian with whatever wild game you can harvest. And I think you'd be as healthy as can be for the rest of your life if you could do that. And, you know, raise your own eggs and catch your own fish and then harvest some animals and grow your own food, and life's going to be good. So I think that's where I'll leave it. I'm sure I forgot some stuff, but you know, this is not a topic that a lot of people are going to agree with, I don't think. But you know, I thought about not making this because of that very reason, that people might not like this. But this has been part of my culture, part of my heritage, part of my life since I was born, and it is what I still do when I need to get myself grounded, get into the forest and get connection with nature. I do it in this way, and I won't apologize for that. This is part of my human DNA, and I'm exercising that when I do this, and I'm meditating. Hopefully I'll be able to find a way to incorporate into some sort of forest practice where I can do walking meditations with people, or show them how this works up front, you know, take them into nature and show them how to feel these energies and ground yourself properly. But I think that's where I'll leave it. So as I always say, I hope this video finds you well. I love you all, and we'll see you tomorrow.